Home Florida Sun, the heat has been turned up on fighting in the NHL. The league's general managers are gathering here in Naples with a multitude of topics to discuss. And at the very top of the list, player safety. Over the next 3 days, the general managers are expected to lay the groundwork regarding fighting's future in the game. The death of senior league player Don Sanderson continues to resonate with the league executives, and changes of some sort to fighting appears to be on the way.
I think the helmet issue is the whole issue, whether we force players to leave their helmet on during a fight. I don't think fighting should ever be taken away from our game.
You have to look at the mechanics of fighting. Is there a way, this will sound really silly, is there a way to make it safer? You know, guys like me that believe fighting has an integral part or integral place in our game, what's the best way to do it in a way that, you know, senseless or needless injuries can be averted?
While the Players Association, which gave an hour-long presentation to the GMs on a wide array of topics, is all in favor of implementing some safety measures for fighting, the bigger issue for the PA is headshots. According to PA Executive Director Paul Kelly, the players would like to propose a rule similar to that of checking from behind.
It's the shoulder. You drop that hard shoulder pad down and you hit the head or neck area of a player, and it causes potential career-ending harm to our players, and that's the type of hit that we would like to see eliminated from the game. And you can't do it simply by preaching respect to players. You've got to make it, you've got to put more teeth into it, you've got to deter this type of conduct.
Some of the other issues on the agenda to be mulled over the next few days include goalie equipment measurements, making equipment custom fit to each goalie so that all gear is proportional to the size of the netminder, scraping the entire ice surface at the beginning of overtime and not doing it for the shootout. Detroit General Manager Ken Holland would like to change the tiebreaker rule to just regulation wins. Right now, the rule includes all wins. Also, participation of NHL players in the 2010 opening ceremonies and future World Cup involvement. And joining me now to discuss the hot topics of the day, Bob McKenzie. Bob, the real hot button issue right now, fighting.
Well, you know, it's a worthwhile discussion to have for the National Hockey League, and they may come out of here with some different recommendations in terms of safety. But I believe if you're going to get into the whole anti-fighting issue, it shouldn't be a trickle-down thing. It shouldn't be something that starts with the National Hockey League. These are professionals. These guys make their living at it. I really believe that if there's going to be an anti-fighting movement and you're going to come out with stringent regulations against fighting, it needs to start at the ground up, and it works in minor hockey, youth hockey, junior A, even major junior, and that'll get me in trouble with a lot of traditionalists. But you know, if you're going to go anti-fighting, do it where leagues where kids are playing the game, and more than 50% of them don't ever end up making a living at it. And I really think that's where the focus should be. That's how you change the culture of the game. That's where the change should come. But what they're doing here, it's a worthwhile exercise, and I'll be interested to see what exactly comes of it.
Now, the NHLPA brought forth a proposed rule change with headshots. Where's your take on that?
Well, I don't think, I've always been an advocate that there should be more done to protect the players' heads, and I think the message from Paul Kelly at the end of the day is this is important to the players, because the players are starting to realize now that they've only got one brain, and that there are some far-reaching effects from concussions, and they're not just career effects, but quality of life after you've stopped playing, so I can understand where they're coming from. I know Brian Burke says if you have a head-checking penalty, any kind of head-checking penalty, even a modified one like Paul Kelly proposed, that you're going to reduce the amount of hitting in the game. I don't see that in the Ontario Hockey League. Brian Burke says he does. Dave Branch, the commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League, says he doesn't. I watch college hockey. Brian Burke watches college hockey. He says he sees a reduction in the amount of hitting. I don't see that. And I think whatever little bit of reduction there is in hitting is worth it to protect the players' heads, but that's just me.
Well, there's Bob McKenzie taking his own shots. That'll do it from Naples, Florida. Let's send it back to you.